Alhamdulillah wahdah, wassalatu wassalamu ala man la nabiyya ba'dah, amma ba'd. So inshallah ta'ala, we resume from where we left a few weeks ago. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أم حسبتم أن تدخلوا الجنة أم حسبتم أن تدخلوا الجنة ولما يأتكم مثل الذين خلوا من قبلكم ولما يأتكم مثل الذين خلوا من قبلكم If you're not doing together, it means that some of you are doing wrong. You can't be going ahead and behind or whatnot. If you just follow the rhythm, you should all be fine. And you cannot not prolong and cannot not shorten. There has to be all the rules applied. أم حسبتم أن تدخلوا الجنة ولما يأتكم مثل الذين خلوا من قبلكم أم حسبتم أن تدخلوا الجنة ولما يأتكم مثل الذين خلوا من قبلكم. That's a bit better, isn't it? It's because someone has to lead. If everyone is doing sheepishly, not knowing what they're doing, then you can't work because everyone does whatever. Someone has to lead it. If you, one of you, two of you, whoever knows how to do it, just say it loud so people would just follow you. And then you fall in. Without the rhythm maintenance, you would make mistakes. There has to be certain prolongation, certain shortening, certain ghunna, certain ikhfas. All of that needs to be done. Okay, so it means the same as aw, which means or. But when there's a question, you use instead of aw. Okay, so same meaning. And aw means the same thing. Or. Hasibtum. Do you do the hisab? Do you expect? Do you have the guman? Husban, his. You heard about the word guman in Urdu. We say guman means your expectation. Are you suspecting? Are you hoping? Are you expecting? Something like that. Do you think? Is that what you understand? Is that what your expectation is? Is that what you think? So hasibtum, or do you think? And that tadkhulu, you will enter al-jannata, the paradise, Jannah. Walamma, while not come yet, what? Ya'tikum. Walamma has not come yet. Ya'tikum, atayati means to come. What has not come to you? Mathalul ladina. The example, the like of those alladina, those khalaw, they've been, they pass, they run away, they complete it. Means that those who have done it, means those people who passed away, died, the previous nations. So those people. So has not come yet to you what has come to those people before you. الَّذِينَ خَلَوْا مِنْ قَبْلِكُمْ, from before you. So before you, there were people who spent time here and they have got, there were things that came to them, which was what? Punishment, the trial, the calamity, the hardship, punishment of being on the side of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through the enemies of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So do you then think that you would enter Jannah and yet you haven't received any punishment, any trouble, any trial, the likes of which the previous before you has already tasted? So those people who have been through it, and you haven't even tasted any of that. And do you think you would go to Jannah and they would go to Jannah after going through all the hardship? You understand? So hasibtum, or do you think, أن تدخلوا, that you would enter al-Jannah, the paradise. وَلَمَّا يَأْتِكُمْ, and not come to you yet. What did not come to you? Mathal, the example, the like, the torture, the difficulty, the calamity. الَّذِينَ خَلَوْا مِنْ قَبْلِكُمْ, those who passed before you. What came to them has not come to you yet. And then Allah is describing مَسَّتْهُمُ الْبَأْسَاءُ. Massa yamassu means to touch. What has touched them? Ba'sa. Ba'sa, utmost poverty, deep poverty. So they were starving. Massathum, touched them was, what touched them? Al-Ba'sa. وَالضَّرَّاء, and the hardship, physical hardship. وَزُلْزِلُوا, they were shaken. Zalzala, earthquake. Zulzilu, they were shaken. حتى يقول الرسول, until يقول says, what did الرسول, the Rasul, the Prophet of the time. So this is the previous nation. They were tortured, they were given hard time, they have seen the calamities, poverty, all the hardships. And there came up a time, even the Prophet, who's the most patient and most trusting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala person, that individual who's directly in revelation with Allah, even he said, and those وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا مَعَهُ, and those people who believed with him, the Prophet, they said what? مَتَى نَصْرُ اللَّهِ, when will the victory be? When will the nusra, the support, the help of Allah be? When would Allah's help come? ألا إن نصر الله قريب. ألا, beware, lo and behold, believe, have trust. إن نصر الله, indeed the nusrat of Allah, the help of Allah is قريب. This is what Allah said in response to the Prophet and the people who were shaken. So hardship is a very relative term. Hardship is with regards to how we look at that. Many a time, hardship is actually a positive thing, because no one attains what they want to attain or achieve without the hardship. No gold can become pure gold unless it is being burnt and melted in a proper, furnace. No impurity comes out of anyone except through this hardship. You have to boil, you have to jump in literally burning oil to get the full taste, to purify yourself. That is why the most severely tortured, so to say, physically or tested or gone through the hardships are prophets. Prophets who are completely pure already, even then they had to go through that churner. Without calamity, without trial, without tribulation, no one becomes pure. This is Allah's promise. The more you are in love with Allah, the more you are tested. The beauty, though, is you would not feel that pain. Because once you are in this relationship of love, no pain is pain. You ask Romeo, are you in pain with Layla? So, not at all. Don't even dare say that. But you've been queuing up to see just one glimpse, spending whole night just to look at Layla once. You ask Majnun, he said, no, this is the most beautiful part of my life. You ask them, and they would tell you. They can walk in this path of learning, or loving. Love is such a thing that once you are burned with love, nothing can touch you. Nothing can, desensitize you to carry on with the love. That is why you could see the prophets, the pious people. You imagine Bilal radiallahu anhu being tortured in the hot desert on this ground, naked on the back, big rock sitting on the chest. People are holding him down. and making him feel the heat. And most of you have been to Umrah and Hajj. You can't even stand there for a couple of minutes. In the marbled, mataf, if it's hot in the afternoon, and there are a lot of, support there. You don't feel the pain, but you go outside of the masjid in the open desert. In Hajj, Arafah day, just spend literally 10 seconds without your shoes on. Take your shoes off and just stand on that tarmac or any deserted area, any open ground. You can't do that. And that's the thick, feet with a lot of, we do that, had a lot of support there with padding and everything else. Thick skin on the feet. And back, that skin is so soft. I mean, you can't even lie on the ground, simple ground, even if it's normal temperature. But he could do that. And he was weak man. He wasn't physically very strong. Because as a slave, obviously. And yet, they were torturing him and he would say, yes, Ahad, Ahad. He could have given up to save himself, to even get the freedom. He wouldn't. Khabbab bin Arad, another companion, very poor man. His family, his tribe was, they used to do this blacksmith work. So they would just burn the metal rod and then, what you call? Daagne ko kya kehte? They would just do the cauterization, really. Burning metal on the skin. And he would tolerate it. He wouldn't budge in at all. White patches on their back. His back had white patches. And Umar radiallahu anhu, in his days, when Islam was prevailing everywhere, every so often he would just ask, "Oh Khabab, come here. Stand up on this pulpit. Everyone should be able to see you." He said, "Turn around, take your shirt off, let everyone see your back." And they said, "Yeah, Amir al-Mu'mineen, those are the days gone. You don't need to worry about it." No, I know you are a strong man. You don't need to worry about that. I want them to see what we have been through to come to this level so that they don't forget. And they could see all his back was white marks here and there, as if he had got this vitiligo, like, the Baras thing. Because that's how it healed subsequently. All the scars, all the whatever, keloid and, granulation tissue there. They could tolerate all of that. Haram bin Milhan, another companion, he is in this battlefield and some enemy from behind threw a spear and it just came from back through and through to the front, and he could feel that the wound, obviously, and the blood gushing forth, and he just took it and started rubbing on his face. Fustu wa rabbil Kaaba, he started shouting, looking at people. Wallahi, I'm successful, I'm done. Going to Jannah, goodbye. You got a spear in your back and through to the front. I mean, even imagine that. I think I can guarantee that you can't even think about that. You can't even imagine what it would be like. You can't envisage it. How would it be in the thick of battle? And you're saying, shouting, rubbing the blood on your face, saying that, "Oh, I'm done. I am successful." Pain? Is that pain for them? No such thing as pain for them. And that's the beauty. Once you love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and once you're dedicated to the Quran, and it is true for even non-Muslims, if they have a clear focus and they love that target and they want to die for that, they won't feel pain. They could sacrifice, and people do sacrifice. Obviously, the big difference tend to be that their cause tend to be more material. If you're doing it for dunya, obviously, you want to see some outcome. Ours is very clear. Outcome is there. Anything in this world is a bonus. You don't get anything, you're still happy. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam never ever in his 23 years life of prophethood, he had food 3 days in a row. Something which is cooked 3 days in a row. No, never. If he had 1 day, the next day would be, starving, so to say, but fasting. He would voluntarily fast on that day. 2 days that he had food, third day he must have nothing. When he was offered that all this Uhud mountain could become gold for him, he's the richest person ever. He opts for, no, I would rather be a humble servant. So one day I had food and I thanked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the next day I would be starving, which means I would be fasting and being patient without food. Look at their torture, their trouble, subhanAllah. So, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tests people in a different way. For someone, simple cough for 3 days, they're in bed. And that's the biggest torture of their life. They can't even imagine having to go through that again. For some, a small cut, a small, thorn prick is more than enough. For certain people, they can lay their life. And we've seen it within our own lifetime, how much torture people could go through, and they still, mashallah, are persistent, persevering with their iman. So the degree of the hardship is direct. This is directly proportional to your connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and your status in Jannah. The more, the merrier. You don't ask though for. If we could see the benefit of the hardship, life would not sustain, because everyone would want to have a big spear going through and through my back. And it doesn't work. In that case, you would rather have the enemy, please come and attack me. I want to just go. So the life would not sustain. If the benefits are seen, if we could see that, remove the veil of all the hardship in this world, no one would want to do anything to save their life. Rather, everyone would be putting their, please cut me, please stab me. Oh, no, just get this roller over me. I want this bulldozer, bulldoze me. Kill all my family members. I want to see myself, so the torture would get us all close to it. You don't want that. That is going to be completely like, anti-worldview, because the world has to sustain, and we have to go through Jannah through this vehicle. It would just be spoiling all of that. That is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala kept it hidden from us, so that we don't go for that. In fact, we are commanded not to ask for any of those calamities and hardship. But when it comes with Allah's permission, stay put, persevere, don't give up. And this is why Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said about the Prophet, "Ashaddun nasi bala'an al-anbiya, thumma al-amthal fal-amthal." The most hardly, or severely tested are the prophets. They go through a lot of trouble. This is why Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, whenever you are in any trouble, think about me, look at my lifestyle, look at my life that I've been through. It will give you enough solace, because I've been through all of those troubles. Whatever trouble you could think of, he has already been. Some people are concerned about their losing their family, their parents. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam lost both. Some people concerned about their spouses, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam lost his spouses. Most beloved person, he lost it. Financially, he lost everything. He didn't have any financial, means to even sustain a normal life. His children, he lost out of 7, 6 in front of him, passed away, right in front of him. He buried them with his own hand, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So all the torture about children not getting married or getting divorced, he had it. His 2 daughters were divorced at the same time by 2 sons of Abu Lahab, when he claimed that he's a prophet. And this is the uncle who used to love him. And then they were both in nikah, straight away divorced. Biggest blow to father, 2 at the same time. You can't compare him in anything that you go through, except that you don't know what he's been through. Because we don't study his life, we don't read his lifestyle, life history. So the Prophet cried. So why did they cry? Are they weak? Why would they cry, the prophets? No, because crying for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's help is sunnah. It is expected. Not because you're impatient, not because you do not have trust in Allah. Rather, that is a sign that you're not indifferent. It is not that you are looking for it. You're never looking for hardship. You never ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, give me, no, not at all. That is not expected. That is not required. You just stay the normal way. You just do whatever you're supposed to do. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will test you. That's given. There will be tests. Sometimes by giving you, and then you're tested, or by taking you, and you're tested. So whatever test comes to you, ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ya Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, don't test me in the simplest, easiest way. And if you do test me for something, give me tawfiq to stay put. That's what the goal is. When the test comes, you just carry on. If it doesn't come, you don't ask for it. This is why Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, let none of you make dua to meet the enemy in the battlefield. Don't ask. But when you get that, when you get in this situation, persevere. Have trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and don't move back. It means carry on. That Allah would help you. So that is expected. And there's a lot of blessings in, you come close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through the hardship. Whatever you lose, even a thorn prick, it would just bring you closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It would expiate all the sins, many sins. There are many benefits of these, but I'm just highlighting a few hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is why Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wills good for his slave, he hastens the punishment for him in this world. And when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wills ill for his slave, he withholds the punishment for his sins from the sin until he comes to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the day of judgment with all the sins. And he'll be tortured there. And then he said, I wish I had all the trouble and trial in this world. Whereas when we are in the trial, we don't like it. All these trials are means of expiation and blessings for us. But the believer is not harmed by a thorn or even anything greater, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala raises his status. Subhanallah. And when someone loses their children, especially a child, at a young age, that is a very big test. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asked angels, have you taken the soul of the child of my servant? They said, yes, we have. He said, okay, what did my servant say? He said, all praise be to Lord. Alhamdulillah ala kulli hal, in every situation. And he said, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. To Allah belong everything, and we should all be returning back to him. Inna lillahi, it's called istirja'. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, hadith in Tirmidhi and hadith is sahih, build a house for my servant and name it Baytul Hamd, the house of praise. My servant praised me even at the time when I took the most beloved thing to him, which is his small son or daughter, a small baby passed away. He'll be given this palace, which is called Baytul Hamd. And imagine you are in that special house. What would you think about that? I mean, Jannah is a very special honor from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, special house from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is when you are afflicted with a calamity as great as this, and yet you are patient, and you are thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because everything belongs to Allah and Allah does whatever. And many a time you get true color of people. Both ways. Are you in love with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala truly? Do you really believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? The trial would confirm. Because many a time people are happy to be with any cause, any good idea. Let's just carry on. Even spouses, they're happy to be with you as long as you are making money, as long as you're benefiting them, taking them to all the fun. The minute you become bankrupt, God forbid, or you lose your limb, or you lose some of your faculties, crippled husband, immediately out. Like his wife. The wife was good, looking after everything. The minute she developed this extensive disease of some sort, she's bedbound now, she had a stroke, God forbid, or whoever, both sides. And he said, you know what? Let her be with her mom and dad. Let the brother look after this unwell lady. I'm divorcing her. And then she just be left on her own. This is where you're tested, how much love you really had for that baby. People are just tested in the times of trial. Fudayl ibn Iyad radiyallahu anhu, he said, as long as people are doing fine, their true nature is concealed. But when calamity strikes, their true natures are revealed. So the believer resorts to his faith, and the hypocrite resorts to his hypocrisy. Obviously, you just go to whatever you don't want anymore. And then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, how beautiful is the matter of believer. When he is afflicted, he shows his patience, which is better for him. When he is given any respite, he's happy with that. He thanks Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Again, better. This is only the matter of a believer. And another very important hadith, inshallah ta'ala, Khabbab bin Arat radiallahu ta'ala, I mentioned about how he has to go through whatever trouble and torture, like many other Sahaba. And he said, Shakawna ila Rasulillah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. We complained to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, وَهُوَ مُتَوَسِّدْ, while he was leaning on a pillow, like he was leaning on a cushion. بُرْدَةً لَهُ فِي ظِلِّ السَّعْبَ. So في ظِلِّ الكعبة, in the shade of Kaaba, he was just leaning onto, he was covered in something, a burda. Burda is normally a shawl or, you know. And so we said, فَقُلْنَا, so we said, أَلَا تَسْتَنصِرْنَا, would you not seek help from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for us? أَلَا تَسْتَنصِرُوا لَنَا, would you not seek help from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for us? أَلَا تَدْعُوا اللَّهَ لَنَا, would you not make dua? Make dua for us means that we are having a lot of trouble. فقال, so Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, قَدْ كَانَ مِنْ قَبْلِكُمْ يُؤْخَذُ الرَّجُلُ, before you, there was a time when a man would be يُؤْخَذ, would be taken, would be caught. A man would be taken, would be caught. فَيُحْفَرُ لَهُ فِي الْأَرْضِ, and a ditch would be, a deep hole would be dug in the wall, in the ground, in the earth for him. So he'll be buried up to this much. فَيُجْعَلُ فِيهَا, he'll be placed in this. So he's buried with his waist up to shoulder, inside that, you know, hufra. Hufra is the, you know, a pit in the ground. So mayukta bil minshar, and then they would bring a metal, the saw. A saw will be brought. فَيُوضَعُ عَلَى رَأْسِهِ, and it would be put on his head. فَيُجْعَلُ نِصْفَيْنِ, and he'll be made into halves, two halves. He'll become two with the live, someone who is live, half buried. He'll be divided. He will be cut into two halves, alive, with that metal chisel or minshar is the, what do you call minshar? Ariko. So you will cut into half, alive. And وَيُمْشَطُ بِإِمْشَاطِ الْحَدِيدِ, بِأَمْشَاطِ الْحَدِيدِ, much is comb, the metal comb would be brought, and it will be مَا دُونَ لَحْمَهُ وَعَظَمِ, مَا دُونَ لَحْمِهِ وَعَظَمِ, between his bone and his what you call flesh. This metal comb would tear him apart, alive. He's been buried this much, and his muscles and flesh is being pulled out alive from his bones for being Muslim. مَا يَصُدُّهُ ذَلِكَ عَنْ دِينِهِ, but none of that would be able to stop him from his deen. He would not leave his faith. He would stay persevere, steadfast. So then Rasulullah said, Wallahi, Wallahu, by Allah, لَيُتِمَّنَّ اللَّهُ, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would definitely, most certainly, La yutimmanna Allahu hadha al-amr, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would definitely, most certainly complete his affair, his matter, this deen. Hatta yasir al-rakib min sana'i ila hadri maut, until there will be a time when a rakib, a rider on the horse could go from Sana'a to Hadramaut, the two different cities in Yemen. They could go from there to there without having any trouble. La yakhafu illa Allah. He would not fear anything except Allah. وَالذِّئْبُ عَلَىٰ غَنَمِهِ. And obviously he would have little fear of a wolf may eat my, you know, sheep or goat. وَلَكِنَّكُمْ تَسْتَعْجِلُونَ. Means this matter is going to prevail. Outcome is clear. Not just in Jannah. Jannah is obviously clear. Even in this world, Islam will prevail no matter what. The script is there. Kalimatullahi hiya al-ulya. Then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, وَلَكِنَّكُمْ تَسْتَعْجِلُونَ, not saying to Khabab and the Bilals and the likes, but you are hasty. You are too hasty. You don't wait. And in certain narration, he said that he obviously he was lying there. وَلَقَدْ لَقِينَا مِنَ الْمُشْرِكِينَ الشِّدَّةِ. Bilal saying, we actually had a lot of hard time from the mushrikun. I mean, they were torturing us. And that is why we asked this. And this is the response from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to Sahaba, that you are hastening of what we have gone through. Nothing compared to them. They had years of torture. 3 years they were boycotted, where they did not have anything to eat or drink for 3 years. No, nothing would be sold to them, and they've gone through all of those. So we need to be a bit careful as to what we are seeing in our lifetime. And thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for all the blessing that we have. The problem is that we can't but just go on this media, see people around and what they are doing and feeling miserable. Oh, they're having fun and I am in this situation. Look at those people who are, even today, being tortured just because they say Allah is their Lord, because they are Muslim, because they have got whatever. In many parts of the world, Muslims are suffering. It has been the case throughout. Allah would test us and test them. So they are tested and we are tested. If we do not do what we are supposed to do, then we will be responsible on the day of judgment. We'll be asked about that. So have trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Remember, it would never be as smooth as you feel it should be or you expect. We all want it to be very, very smooth, nice, right? We just go there, we say Allahu Akbar, everything will be sorted out. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work. It never works like that. How would Allah test it? If it was that clear cut, you say Allahu Akbar or you say you're a Muslim and everything is just put in front of you, you are in the paradise, then why would anyone be non-believer? How would you be tested? Everyone would just want to be on the good side, isn't it? And this is, as I keep mentioning, a war between us and Shaitan. Humanity together on one side, Shaitan on other side, devil. Now, obviously, he is managing to get many of us human beings into this distraction for dunya. So what is more appealing is the earlier outcome, benefit there and then. So naqd and udhar. You know about naqd and udhar? Deferred payment and immediate payment. Everyone is interested in immediate payment. Our method is not naqd, it's udhar. It's like, you would not get here. Ours is very clear that whatever is promised would be in the life hereafter. That is why you never look at the outcome here. We've been doing it for, what did we get? Nothing. So doesn't matter. Been working for 50 years. What have you achieved? 30 years, 90 years. So what? 950 years. Nuh alayhi salam. How many people believed in it? 80 people. That's it. 900. There are many da'is today who might have converted more people into Islam. The Nuh alayhi salam, who spent 950 years. There'll be prophets with only one person believing in him. So what? Is he failure? Not at all, because ours has nothing to do with this world. Yeah, that's extra bonus, but the actual benefit is in the life hereafter. So never give hope, never lose hope, never, become dejected and despondent about the situation at all. Because everything is happening according to Allah's plan. Everything is in Allah's control. And things would continue to be in Allah's control. It is up to us whether we take our share and do the right thing so that we are in good books with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or not. May Allah give us tawfiq. So hardship is never a problem for believer, alhamdulillah. But there will be tests and trial. May Allah save us all from any such trial. But the way to avert it, all these trial, is by being patient, by being in good company, so that you cannot be duped into the attraction of this material world, which is already attracted to us anyway. You do not need to go out and find out what he is doing. You just keep sitting with those people, keep talking to that high class. Everyone is dedicating their life to increase their bank balance, their career, their this and that. You would never be happy. Whatever you achieve, you can say, I've got nothing. I've got only 5 sports cars, he's got 10. I'm a loser. I'm 50 and I'm 55 or I'm 60 or I'm 80 and I've only got 5 houses. And he has got 3 already when he's only 20. So you're a loser, isn't it? My parents are miserable. They haven't got a house yet of their own. I need to buy 2 houses at least, maybe 5 if not. All craze, rubbish. Nothing works like this. It is not about your dreams. Dream should be about life hereafter and a decent time in this world where you are not begging for food, where you've got enough on the table and plate that you can feed your family. That's it. No, but the dream is what? It was supposed to be when we were young. What's his name? Bill Gates. Is not now Elon Musk, who is that icon or tycoon or whatever. Yes. So everyone wants to be like that. Slowly and slowly. There's no guarantee for the Jannah, by the way. If anything, there's more guarantee that they perhaps will be on the other side. Because money corrupts. And the more you are, the richer you are, the more corrupt you would get. You can't make that much of money in halal way, Islamically. In their culture, in their religion, it may be okay. Islamically, you cannot have interest-based money. So you can only be rich if you are really a crooked person. Halal way, you can't be rich. There could not be a very big gap between you and a poor man unless you're doing something which is not Islamically okay. Yeah, there are very few people that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give barakah in their rizq. But many a time, even that is a trouble. Money is always a trouble. This is why Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, it's not me saying it. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Lal faqra akhsha, or in another narration, Mal faqra akhsha alaykum. I am not concerned. I do not fear for you, O my ummah, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam's ummah. I do not fear for you being poor. I'm not bothered about that. Rather, I'm concerned that dunya would be given to you and you become rich. And when you become rich, you start competing. When you start competing, you spoil your akhirah. This dunya would destroy you as it has destroyed the nations before you. He said, I am not fearful that you will become poor. Poverty is not a problem. I'm talking about average poverty. Middle class, that's okay. Don't need to be very poor because that is a trial as well. When you don't have food, then you don't feel like doing anything. You start questioning Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Unless it's acquired poverty, as Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam acquired poverty. He wanted to be with poor. So yes, work for dunya, earn halal way, and have a decent income, but don't go too high. Look at those who are under you so that you have enough satisfaction and trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you have enough to eat and drink and your house is okay, don't keep thinking about multiplying your wealth. I know that's a dream for everyone, but that is a crazy dream. This dream is killing everyone's iman. Muslim, non-Muslim alike, Christians, Jewish people, Hindus, Sikh, Muslim, everyone. There's nothing bigger as a trial or tribulation than the wealth. This dunya is ra'su kulli khati'ah. The love of this dunya, of this materialism, is the reason for all the calamities, all the trouble in the world. The people do all the atrocities against each other to expand their kingdom, to expand their wealth. That is why they do zulm. Even to the point that the people actually, they deprive their own family members. I don't want my sister to have the inheritance, let her not get married, because then she would ask for her share, keep her indoors. There are people who actually get their sisters married to Quran. Haram stuff. They say, no, you can't marry, you're very pious, you stay indoors. You go to, in the what you call the suburbs and in the villages, with the big giant leaders, head of all of these villages. They've got literally, they're millionaires. And what they do, they just keep piling up their assets, their estates, their wealth. None of their female folks get married because if they get, they would take their share. So keep them indoors, keep them indoors. And this elderly, she becomes frail, elderly, doesn't go out, and she's married to Quran. She stays indoors and she thinks, I'm very, you are pious lady. We take you for Hajj every so often, but you come back, rest of the time you just do Allah, Allah inside this room. That is your big chamber, and you feel like queen in that chamber. You have a few slaves and servants working for you day in, day out. You can have the best food, best clothes, that's it. This is your lifeline. Don't go out of this place. And she feels like, yes, I am connected to Quran. I'm just Subhanallah. Haram. This is how they build up their empire. All cultures, Muslims, I'm talking about Muslims. So the love of dunya is such that you would deprive your own family, your own sisters, your own parents, the people who would kill their parents in order to get the inheritance. Dunya is such a thing. So never, never have the love of dunya inside your heart. Could be around you. Imam Ibn Taymiyyah rahmatullah has given a good example. He said, dunya is like a toilet. You need it, but you don't spend time there. You need it, obviously. You have to have that. But don't get connected to it. There's a lot of perversion going on. So maybe you find, oh, toilet is the best part in my family house. That is different. I'm not talking about that perverted mentality of the youth today. I'm talking about normal human being. They do not have solace or special time in the toilet. But now you in the bearded people go to the toilet with phone. So they can spend hours in the toilet. Obviously, that's craze. That's perversion. That's wrong. That's haram attitude. That's not allowed. You can't be reading anything in the toilet. You can't be spending unnecessarily in the toilet. But people do, unfortunately. So normally, toilet is only a place where you need to answer the call of nature, and then you come back relieved, out. Your focus is not that toilet. Rest of the room, you eat, do whatever. But unfortunately, that has become the focus of our life, unfortunately. May Allah give us tawfiq.